even before IB, have you ever got assignments that your teacher just tells you to do, but you don't really want to do? I'll give an example. Like your teacher might tell you, "Give me a 1,500 word report on the implications of the Cold War," right? If you're in history, or your bio teacher might tell you, "All right, guys, do an experiment and report on the effect of light on photosynthesis," right? Or maybe your lit teacher might tell you, "All right, guys, write a commentary of chapter 2 on the novel we're studying." And these are just like weekly assignments or monthly assignments your teacher might do, and then you get them and you're like, oh, I have to do them, I just want to get it quick and over with. I hate these things. So how do you usually react? Well, this is how I kind of reacted. I'd get an assignment like this, which is a big assignment, but you know me, I know how to procrastinate, and then I will procrastinate, and then I'll procrastinate, and then just a couple of days before the due date, I'll do it. So just a short time before. And here's the funny thing. I actually get pretty okay grades. I don't get too terrible grades. We may even get results that we like or even fantastic results. I'll tell you one time I had this really major bio assignment. I did it like one night before and I didn't even sleep that night. And the next day my teacher tells me, "Cole, this is the best essay I've ever seen." I almost wanted to cry. I felt like I can do, like, I honestly thought that doing things last minute was my jam. Like, that's how I get good grades. That's how I kind of operated. But here's the thing. Even if these assignments, you don't get very good grades, they don't really matter, right? Because regular assignments don't really matter. These weekly or monthly assignments that your teacher gives you, it doesn't really affect your final grade, right? Sometimes it might. Your teacher might say, all right, based on this assignment, I'll put a small percentage on your final grade. But it's never really as important as your final exams. And I think all of us, we have an idea, or like from before IB, we're kind of drilled into it like most of the year is practice, you know? What really counts is what you do in your final exams, is how good you are in your final exams. So you might get the mentality like, as long as I can good in final exams, it's fine. And that's how I kind of was. I would procrastinate the whole year, and then towards final exams, I'd be like a study maniac, and that's when I'd get serious, right? So that's what we kind of do, and I think a lot of us think that way. Here's the problem with that. This definitely does not work in IB. Why? Because in IB, coursework matters a lot. In fact, I'd say coursework is kind of like a king in itself. Your IA, your EE, your TOK. Coursework is a huge deal in IB. It's not just about the final exams. And let me tell you why. Around 20% of your subject grade comes from your IA. And depending on the subject, it might even be more. You get 3 points from your EE and TOK, and you have CAST requirements to pass IB. That's at least 25%, around 25% of your final IB grade just coming from coursework. That's a lot. That's 1/4 of your full IB grade coming from how good you do in your coursework. This is not a joke. This isn't just like some weekly or monthly assignment that your teacher tells you to do and then you kind of procrastinate. In fact, if you use this is an extremely risky strategy. Really, really risky. And I'll tell you why. The reason this whole cycle doesn't work is because in IB, there are two things that we don't factor in with traditional assignments. The first thing is you need time to do good work. In IB, you need time to refine your essay or refine your EE, refine your report, refine your I. You need time and time and time. Literally in IB, I do my assignments and then I'd go back to it later, just look at it, see what I could change, see what I could tweak, because I know these assignments matter a lot. Another thing is that in IB, you get a chance to get quality feedback from your teacher. If I'm not mistaken, you get one chance to do that. If you submit a horrible piece of work, your teacher can only bump your grade by 1 or 2 points. But if you give an amazing piece of work, your teacher can then give you feedback to bump your grade 1 or 2 points from that amazing piece of work. So if you give a horrible piece of work, your teacher can maybe bump it to something more moderate. But if you give a really good piece of work, your teacher can then give you feedback to make it fantastic. So you need to make sure that you're taking advantage of this feedback. And the only way you can do that is if you really give a high quality paper from the get-go, from the beginning. You have to give a lot of effort into your IAs and EEs. Another thing that we don't factor in is that maybe when your teacher gives you an assignment, or she gives you homework that you hate doing, but you might do it well. She's grading it based on her criteria, right? Like she might tell you, all right, do a commentary on, I don't know, Hamlet, on chapter 2 of Hamlet, and then you might do it, and then she takes it and she says, wow, this is amazing, you did an amazing commentary. But the IB, it isn't about what your teacher thinks. The IB has its own specific grading for their IAs and EEs and TOK essay. It really does not matter what your teacher thinks of your work. So the IB has its own sets of rules when grading work. And it might be different from what you're used to. So you need time to understand what the IB wants of you, how the IB wants you to do your coursework, how the IB wants you to do your EE or TOK. It may not be something you get first. You need time to get into that mindset of what the IB wants. Study the rubric, study your syllabus guide, look at past examples of EEs or IAs or TOKs in your subject just to figure out what you need, and then you can approach your IAT, EE, or TOK essay. So again, it's not about if you've gotten amazing grades just with your teacher, it's not necessary that you're going to get those amazing grades in your main IB assignments. You need to learn how the IB wants you to answer. You need to learn how the IB wants you to do your coursework, and then you have to approach it. And trust me, it's not as easy as you think. I'm not trying to say that coursework is impossible or is this insurmountable part of IB. I'm just saying that you can't approach it like any other regular homework or assignment. All right, key takeaway, treat your coursework as part of your final exam because it contributes so much to your final IB grade. And don't use that risky cycle. It is really risky if you're using it for coursework. So remember, if you're a new IB student, you hear IA, EE, TOK, and you say, oh, I've seen what these assignments are. It's not that big. I don't really need to spend that much time on it. Don't think like that. Do it early on. Constantly refine it. Get quality feedback from your teacher. Keep on improving it because these things matter a lot. So main thing, when you hear IA, EE, TOK, any type of main coursework, remember, treat it as your final exam and do the best you can.